Welcome guys to my channel where I read novels, play games, reading manga and just story stuff. We read stories, we watch stories and we love stories. Yeah, that's all about me. And today I am come with a novel named魔女の旅々 in English Wandering Witch. We were in chapter 5. Last time I cleared chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm in chapter 5. So let's get started. Hmm. Food to impress garment. What the mean of garment? What the mean of garment, man? Okay, just to highlight this. In a certain country lived an impertinent epicure. Oh, dude. The meaning of reminent epicure. Okay, reminent impertinent epicure. Highlight them. Not to brag, but I have eaten every type of cuisine in the world. To be frank, I don't suppose there is a man on earth who knows as much about food as I do. Okay, who is Fat Man? The epicure invited top-notch chefs to his stately mansion night after night for parties. Reggers every day. Reggers every day. He would call over guests for these nightly social. For each self-styled picture, he would call over guests to these nightly social for such a self-styled epicure. He seemed to have an insatiable appetite for something. Wait a minute. Let me find epicure meaning before I go somewhere else. Do it tell me? Huh. So where was I? Here. For such a self-styled epicure, he seemed to have. The epicure invited top-notch chefs to his stately mansion night after night for parties, reggers every day. He would call over guests for these nightly social. For such a self-styled epicure, he seemed to have an insatiable appetite for something because he had habit of generous inviting young girls to attend the parties for free. Oh, he had habit of generously inviting young girls to attend the parties for free. Oh, wait. Guys, you know what I can do here? I can put this side a dictionary, right? Yes, let's go with that. Let's go there. Let's go there. Parties, epicure, Control C, Control V. Epicure meaning epicure. A person devoted to refined senses enjoyment, especially good food or drink. Okay, I got it. In a certain country lived an impertinent epicure. Okay. In a certain country lived a impertinent matlab copy control V control C control V. Mm. Improperly forward to bold. Don't be fresh with me. Okay, next. Epicure invited top-notch chef to his stately mansion night after night for parties. Raggers. Not found. Raggers every day. He would call over guests for these nightly social for such a self-styled epicure. He seemed to have an insatiable. What? Insatiable? Insatiable. What the mean? Okay, here is the copy text, right? Paste it. Impossible to satisfy. Wow. He seemed to have insatiable appetite for something because he had a habit of generously inviting young girls to attend the parties for free. Inviting young girls, huh? How about it? How about it, Miss Witch? Are you enjoying yourself? Inticide by the feel inticide Pist what? Inspired by the free meal, I had agreed to attend one such a party where I had devoured and handiwork of many famous chefs. Yes, quite so. I am very satisfied. Glad to hear that. The comment was wearing the suit of excellent quality and his voice was full of self-assurance. By the way, I hear you are traveling witch. What do you think? Is there anything greater than the food here? I can't imagine there could be. Nothing coming to mind, right? Well, I don't suppose so. That's what I like to hear. That's what impotent epicure said. Impertinent epicure said. If the meal's free, I'll keep my minor complaint to myself. So they say there's nothing more expensive than something free. Huh? Really? So they say there is nothing more expensive than something free. Wait, let me highlight this phrase. Ouch. Yep. And listening to his guy carry on, I'd say is the most expensive meal in the world, but the exorbitant price don't make something right. Ah, hey, you there? What are you doing? What's with this plating? Have you no respect for food? Whenever there was a lull in party, the epicure would issue instruction to the chefs that boarded on abuse. Hey little girl, that's not the ideal way to eat that dish. Get out of here, you ignorant child. Something his harsh word didn't stop with the chefs, but extended to the guests. I will not exception as earlier he had seen me spread butter on top of bread and confiscated it, saying if you use that much butter you won't be able to enjoy the taste of the bread itself. Now the government seemed to have calmed down, wearing the peaceful expression as he swallowed his wine glass. Geez, don't you think there are far too many people who don't understand anything about food? Well, you got a bit of that tendency too, I suppose. I'm happy that you can sample these offering and have a little taste of fine dining. It might be hard to start up your travel again with your newly refined plate. That would be troublesome. I'm sure it's not such a happy thing. You see, since I have eaten so much huge cuisine, nothing really surprises me anymore. Oh, the luxury to have such a problem. The epicure said, oh, I wonder if there isn't someone somewhere who can make a dish that will impress me. If there was such a person, I would pay a great sum to allow to eat. What? Nobody can impress you, bro. You are epicure, okay? Someone who can make food to impress the impertinent epicure, huh? That's what I'm saying right now. In the case, I know someone who can do it. Oh, who would be that? Who would that be? That's right. It's me. What? Elena? Can you really cook food so satisfy this impertinent epicure? A novel to captivate book. In a certain country, live in a impertinent bookworm. What? Okay, this time impertinent bookworm. We saw Epicure, now this time a bookworm. In a certain country lived an impertinent bookworm. Wait, am I pronunciation this word correctly? Impertinent, impertinent. Bookworm. He had read every kind of book in the world and make his living as a literary critic. He was plump old man living a comfortable and scheduled life in his stately mansion. I heard that you are traveling, which caused that cheeky young epicure to cease holding his famous dinner party altogether. Is that true? What? I heard that the traveling witch caused the cheeky young epicure to cease holding his famous dinner party altogether. Yup. Is that truth? On that particular day, I had been invited to residence of a particular bookworm, where he made such an inquiry of me. Where did you hear that story? Elena said. According to rumors, the epicure had ceased his nightly party after eating greatest dish prepared by me and stopped sharing amazing cuisine with the other people. As a result, I had made enemies of many girls in this country who had been enjoying the free meals. Ah, Elena. Who know that will happen? Well, these things do happen. Yeah. One of the employees working here now was originally a maid who had worked at that estate. That's where she heard about you. Just what kind of a slate, slate, a new word to be noticed. Huh? Slate mean a dirtiness is used in using the hand. Okay. Hmm. Just what kind of a sleight of hand did you use to satisfy that youngster? I'm told he was quite vocal about culinary matters. Culinary matters. Okay, I will leave that word for later. No, let's search it right now. Oh, no word find matters. If you want to know so badly, why not? If you don't know so badly, why not ask your maid? I did, but she did really know. She didn't really know. That's why I invited you here. Get my imagination going. He awfully arrogant. But why do you want to know? Or do I have to use my imagination to find that answer too? Take a guess, he said, puffing away on his pipe and atop his chair. He's got an ego. Apparently, it was too much of a bother for his old man, who was enjoying his reclusy life shut up in his study, surrounded by a bunch of books to move his mouth and tell his own story. Well, that wasn't too hard to imagine. You have spent your life reading many interesting story and tells, but now you are very, very bored, and you summoned me here because you want to hear interesting story, right? Oh, that's right. Bookworm raised an eyebrow like this. My eyebrows. Is it lifting right now? No, I don't think. I've grown tired of recent novel. Not a single one of them is of any import. Compared to classical literature, popular fiction is nothing. Nothing at all. Many new books are published every month, but none of them strike a chord with me. They are they are all dreadful dull. That's why I've grown so bored. I bet. How do you know? How about I get your imagination going again? Well, in actual fact, the bookworm and the epicure were just two birds of a feather. Were just two birds of a feather. No, it should be just two feathers of a bird. Wow. I I think it's a miss. I don't understand why author write like this, but it should be like it's just two feathers of a one bird, right? If you are that bored, then if you like, tomorrow I will come here and bring a novel that you will want to tell someone about right away. If I do that, I think you will understand why the epicure stopped holding his dinner. Oh, how interesting. So you are saying that you are going to inspire me to shut myself away in my state like a epicure? I wouldn't be so sure. Why not? I think you should know even without using your imagination. You're already reckless. Reckless. Yeah, reckless. And so on. The following day, I bought a single book to the bookworm's house. Please read this to the end. I'm sure you will want to tell someone about it right away, I said and left. And it took 3 days before the bookworm maid hesitantly come to visit me at the inn where I was staying. The master has summoned you to come at once. Okay. The book mom was waiting for me at his estate, wearing the rather twisted expression. What is the meaning of this? He slammed the book down on the table. What a horrible way to treat a book for a bookworm. I thought as I started, I stared at him, but when I looked closely, it was the one I had given to him several days earlier. Given to him several days earlier. It seemed he was dissatisfied with my book. What on earth is this? It had no themes to speak of, and there is absolutely no structure to the writing. It's just a everyday conversation of ordinary people, repeated over and over again. There is nothing could even remotely be called fresh downing. The character possesses no post qualities that are charming. This is the first book I ever read that had me agony from line 3. By the way, the book did not have a title. It was someone personal novel that I had happened to find at a general store in some out of the way country somewhere. The content were definitely hot garbage. I was the one who had given him the book, but in actuality, the novel had been so boring that I had absolutely no recollection of the contents. However, I did remember that immediately after I finished reading, I feat of not inconsiderably willpower. I had felt in inestimable sense of indignation. If I remember correctly, I think I put in my best effort and finished reading the book in about 3 hours. But thinking back on it, those must have been the most pointless 3 hours of my entire life. On the other hand, it had apparently taken 3 days for the bookworm to finish, so he must have no been fun fuming over the most pointless 3 days of his life. I read it over and over, thinking I must have skipped over some interesting scene, but this is without a doubt a steaming load. Why did you give me something like this? I don't recall asking for such a boring story. He was rather angry. It had been the same with the epicure. A smile spread across my face. I said the same thing I had told the government after he had finished eating a meal that was impressively bad. What? But didn't it make you want to tell someone about it? A smile spread across my face. I said the same thing I had told you, government, after he had finished eating a meal that was impressively bad. But did it make you want to tell someone about it? What the heck? I didn't get it. The moral of this story. Why Elena would give the bad books and bad cook food to the epicure. I mean interpreting epicure. I think this is beyond of my thinking because I'm baka, wolf baka. Okay, so this is chapter 6. Okay, guys, as we know all about it in this novel, we see odd numbers chapters are too short, and even numbers chapters are small, big like a story. Okay, so this is the big story. I don't know when it will end, but most likely be taking 40 minutes. Okay, let's go. And this would be interesting, not like these short story make you sometime puffed puffed minded, or what do we what should we call humble minded? Nah. Okay, the word is not coming in my head. Okay, let's get started then. A single witch was sitting atop her broom, weaving among the gaps in the trees as she proceeded through the forest. Sunlight filtered through the canopy overhead, twinkling like a starry sky. However, just a warmth of the star floating in the night sky does not reach the earth below. The interior of the forest was as dim as midnight. Very little of the light spilling from the heavens above reached the witch beneath of the boughs. Its brilliance was reserved for space above the forest. So for that reason, even though it was early spring, the witch was little chilly and hugged her aunt's shoulder as she made her way through the forest. She was a young witch, clad in a black robe and pointy black hat. She appeared to be in her late teens. Her hair was long, not white nor black, but an ashen color, and it flowed gently in the breeze. Her lapis-colored eyes were scanning the gloomy forest. Entry beyond this point. In this forest with no signs of other people, she saw barely surviving vestige and human activity. She had stopped in her tracks to read the sign that must have formerly had entry prohibited written on it, but the letters were blurred and the signboard were ivy curling all around. Ivy curly. Okay, so she get into the way where it said entry prohibited. Okay, it looked like it had finished its duty long ago. Hmm. The witch acted as she had never seen the sign and charged ahead on her broom. She would have continued on her way even if she sign had been intact. She was a rotten witch who would bluntly ignore the rules to get forgiveness. Instead of permission by feigning ignorance like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. Who on the earth could she be? That's right, she's me. Yeah, I wasn't particularly forging through the forest because I was aiming for something on the other side of the forest. I had simply seen a similar sign on the one I just saw at the entrance. One that had entry beyond this point is forbidden. What that mean? Entry beyond this point is forbidden. Written on it. I had puzzled over it because it had. Oh my god! Oh, this is my bad, guys. Sorry, but what happened just right now? Ah, why is drum like that's happening here? I didn't get it. But who cares? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Not like someone just subscribe me. And so I continued to for a while a days gazing up the forest in a canopy and yawning as I went like this. That was a real one, yawning from my side. I could see the light shining through the gaps in the trees. Is it finally over? That was a long trip. As these thoughts were circling my mind, I headed toward the light. But yup, you stop. You stop. Okay, someone said. You stop. Immediately I left the forest. Every bit of ground I could see was covered in a sword. Whoa! How? How the heck they are so fast, man? There are no sign of human, right? But instantly there is so many humans surrounded by. Oh no, and Elena surrounded by. Okay, I could see was covered in a sword, innumerable sword, all stock still and pointed in my direction. Huh? Reflexively, I raised both hands. I offered my surrender. Why I still had no idea what was going on. Before my eyes was a lone girl. Before my eyes was a lone girl glaring at me with the eyes as sharp as the blade themselves. Beautiful black hair hung down out of pointy hat she wore on her head. Her skin, her darkly tan, and her eyes were light blue like the ocean in spring. Her clothing was odd, I'm sure. She was wearing a pointy hat and robe, but under the robe she was quite exposed. Her stomach and thighs were completely bare. Stomach and thighs, oh my gosh, sexy. If she had take off her robe, there would be nothing stopping you from saying she was pretty much in her underwear. Oh, let me get her picture. Oh, okay, yeah, shit. Okay, the page number 16, right? Page number 71. Let's go to get her picture. I know where the all character picture is. She is Elaina. And here they is. Yeah. Yeah, they might talking about this girl, right? What the name of it? It's Atoli, a mage from Sunken City, a girl full of youthful vigor who knows her manner. Ah, I see. So you're just wearing nothing. I see, I see. Let's go to the 71 page then. Um, we are here. Ah, okay. You stop. Reflexly, I raise bone hair, beautiful black hair. Yep, beautiful black hair. Beautiful black hair, young down out of pointy hair. She wore pretty much underwear. Won't you get sick dressed like that this time of year? Yep, because it's like a winter, right? Won't you get sick dressed like that this time of year? You're the one who has been invading our territory lately, right? No, I'm not. Liar. I can smell the lies on you. Your reek of lies. No way. I sniffed at my robe. Does it smell like a liar? But it just had a nice scent of fresh laundry. Why did you come to this country? You come to attack us, didn't you? Oh, is this a country? Really? Even though there is no wall or gate or anything, with both hands still raised, I leaned to the side wearily and looked beyond the girl. Well, there I saw a very strange yet wonderful scene stretching out, a city submerged in water. There was a sea of deep blue that looked like it would suck you right in, spreading out from the edge of the forest. Building broke through the calm surface of the water. There were towers of all sizes that looked like they had welled up from the depths, as well as many smaller dwellings that drifted across the surface in the shallow, grey, crooked trees, roots half submerged. The place where the girl was standing before me seemed to be coast, watching the shimmering water gently lapping at her bare brown legs brought me back to the moment. Next to her, there was a small boat swing with the waves rocking about amusingly. There were fish inside a net in a boat, as though she had just come back from finishing trip, and they were sloshing around to any at any rate. At any rate, it seemed I had arrived at an underwater city, but since I was appeared the subject of some kind of a strange misunderstanding, I said, I'm not suspicious person. You see, look at this brooch, I'm witch. I held out the breast of my robe, showing it proudly to the girl. A witch? Never heard of it. Can you eat that thing? Huh? It got delicious looking shape. Ah, are you talking about brooch, huh? You can't eat that brooch, stupid. Oh, there is no use talking to her. Yeah. I quickly gave up on us understanding each other. I threw it the towel on any hope of communication. I threw in the towel on any hope of communication. You're suspicious. I'm talking you with me. I'm talking you with me. Huh? Eventually, the girl yanked me by the arm, pulled me into a small boat, and took me along with her to the city. But before we launched, she tied me arms with a rope. It was very loose. It was very loose. I took an optimistic view. Well, I suppose everything will work out somehow just as soon as we meet someone I can talk to. As thoughts like the circle my mind, the small boat glided across the water. As thoughts like that circle my mind, the small boat glided across the water. Oh, by the way, the girl was rowing her arm shaking as she propelled of the small boat forward. Couldn't you just use magic? Pops, I found a shady moment. We had been drifting over the water of some time. The girl had taken me to the tallest tower where she slammed open an oddly placed door and shouted in a loud voice, Pops, I found shady moments. Okay, that's what she louded voice. That's what she did in loud voice. Pops, I found shady woman. Inside a fairly suspicious but a lovely white ceiling was low enough to reach with your hands. Maybe because the structure Okay, I'm live. Maybe because the structure had not originally been designed as the residence. The floor was made of simple slat of wood. They had a rather rustic appearance, like they would wrap if you stepped hard on them. Huh? Deeper inside, sitting on a handmade wooden chair, was dashing looking older man with a dark brown complexion. What is this? Another attack from the city? The older man asked. By the way, he was mostly nude. For clothing, he was only single piece of clothes worn around his hip. Aren't you cold? Are you muscle protecting you from the cold? Is that possible? That's what I'm thinking right now. The girl tugged roughly on my arm and stood there shocked. Here, this person, very shady. Shady. She looks super suspicious. Wow. Man, she's Elaina, okay? And what do you think she's suspicious for, huh? The girl, I'm not all that suspicious actually. As if such a clarification from me had hardly any effect, the dashing man stood up. Well, for now, just put her in jail. What? Directly put her on a jail? Really? Ah, dude. Wait, guys, I'm coming. I'm gonna fix this model of me. Okay, I think I fixed up. Now, let's go. So, Elena is on jail now? Why? Well, for now, just put her in a jail. I will integrate her later. Dinner comes first. What with the lazy response? Sure, got it. I will torture her. Sure, got it. I will torture her. You mean integrate, right? Yeah, interrogate mean raw torture. In the end, I was dragged along at the mercy of somewhat over enthusiastic girl. The interior of tower seemed to be rather suspicious. On the second floor was large prison cell. The girls tossed me into it, saying only, "You wait here and be quiet," and returned to the first floor. Incidentally, the chair in the cell was with everything else made of wood. There was one other person inside. Apparently, someone else had been arrested, same as me. I could see her in the corner of the cell. Were you arrested too? That old man said. It was an adult woman with something of free spirited yet refined manner about her. Her age seemed to be about early 20. Her soft blonde hair was bound into a single bunch on the side of her head, and the ends of it brushed her shoulder. Her eyes were bluish purple color. They were framed by glasses with slim silver rims. She was wearing clothes that made me wonder that what on earth she normally did with her time, a dress and shawl like a city girl. She looked terrible out of place inside a cell like this. Hi there. For the time being, I bowed my in greeting. The woman said hello with my grin. My name is Viola. Viola. I'm beautiful young archaeologist on the important journey. Viola. Wait. Do we have her photo? Let me guess. uh, First make a highlight here so we can get here. Firstly, first page. Voila, they said voila, right? Okay, she's voila. Here you guys, look at this, a voila photo. There you go. uh Voila, a self-professed archaeologist of beautiful girls, an excellent scholar who traveled the world but whose personality leaves something to be desired. Aha. Okay. Heavily, a top-ranking member of Order of Holy Knight tasked with keeping the place in the Holy City. Amnesia, a girl who loses her memory in her sleep trying to reach the Holy City. Holy City, Holy City. Okay, both are Holy City, Holy City. Ah, I wonder what is the Holy City about. But now we are here for these two characters, Atolia and Voila. Voila. Okay, let's get back to the our page number 75. 75. Enter. Minus, 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 minus. Oh, okay. There we go. Here we are. Right. Hmm. Well, I don't know if you should call yourself young. Oh, the beautiful young archaeologist thing was a joke. Oh ho ho ho. Voila elegantly brought her hand to her mouth. What is your name, Miss Witch? I'm Elaina. I'm traveling witch. My cute traveler with a cute name. Thanks. A cute traveler with a cute name. I sat down in the very center of a jail cell, and for some reason, Viola, Viola stood right up and sat down again next to me. Suddenly, face to face, I felt somehow vaguely uncomfortable. What on earth is the deal with this country? I asked while trying to put a little distance between us. Viola laughed again. This is place called Sunken City. She closed the distance between us once again. Sunken City, huh? I never heard of it. I inched away an irritation only as far as she had approached. That's because only the people who lived here call it that. Viola scooted that much closer. The thing about this place you see is that it has fairly sad history. Huh? Huh? I backed away. Do you want to hear about it? She closed in. Before you start, I think you are a bit too close. Oh, I don't mind. I have been famous for having no sense of personal space ever since I was a kid. Are you sure you aren't you famous for trampling on other people's personal boundaries? I only want to get close to cute girls, so don't worry, okay? Cute girls. A Yuri! Okay. Don't worry, okay? She idly brushed at her hair. A chill went up on my spine. With my strength, I escaped to the edge of the cell and created a wall between her and me using my luggage. I felt I was in danger. Mm, what's with this jail? The inside of the cell is more dangerous than the outside. There is no rule of law in here. I'm so scared. I'm terrified. What should I do? I just as soon blast off some spell and get out here. I was trying to wrench free of the rope blindly. My hand. I brought to food for you. Okay. The girl was tanned skin from earlier appeared holding a plate loading with a salad in each hand. Since we were in a city on the water, I naively thought they might serve us fish or other seafood, but it seemed they served nothing but salad to criminals. You can waste away eating nothing but leaves. You can waste away eating nothing but leaves. In an aggressive tone of voice, the girl set down the plate for a moment, strained to open the cell, and handed us the salad. Yeah, here you go. She left again. Oh, so I thought she come back once more, set down several varieties of bottles, said here salad dressing, and left for real this time. Here good upbringing revealed itself. The girl is called Atolia. She seemed to be one of the few mages in this country, and she apparently the daughter of patriarch. Viola spoke while munching on leaves. The patriarch chomping away at her salad, Viola continued. There was a mostly naked older man downstairs, right? The man is the chef of the tribe that lives in the city. I see. I nodded. Weird look for a patriarch. By the way, little Atolia is cute, isn't she? By the way, totally. Well, sure. Earlier, I said I was a beautiful young archaeologist on a journey, but the truth is, I'm just a hobbyist. I'm trying to create a illustrated reference to manual of beautiful girls. I'm sorry, I don't understand where this conversation going. Oh, come on. Come to think of it, there is a reason why there are remains of a sunken city here. This discussion is all over the place. Oh, there is no use of trying to talk to her. But at any rate, I was admittedly a little interested on finding out how this city got such a state. So I lent my ear to Oila. Oh, come to think of it, she went on. The conversation continued to change again and again, but eventually she told me a bit about the city's history. Hmm. Something had taken place when Voila had visited the ancient capital of Lolia, an ordinary city in the middle of her travels. I'm king of this country. On the third day of her stay there, she had been summoned by the king of. Oh, hello. She was apparently rather nonchalant even when dealing with the royalty. I heard you are traveling archaeologist. Is that true? Yep, I'm beautiful young archaeologist. Ah, the beautiful young part. Young part was a joke. Is that so? The king coughed and cleared his throat. Well, there is something I would like you to request of you. You want me to keep you company overnight? I'm afraid that won't be possible. Not that. I'm sorry. It's just that I don't want to form the kind of relationship with the man. Okay. I said that's not it. In great expiration, the king leaned forward from where he sat on his splendid throne and began speaking seriously. The truth is, our country has been troubled by food shortages. According to his story, his country population had outgrown its ability to feed all its people. They had tried to import food from other countries, but it seemed their neighbor had found themselves in difficult circumstances. Even if they had been able to work out a deal, it would have been a drop in the bucket. The king was at a complete loss. At the point, in order to procure food for my country, I thought we would develop a new land to supply us. I see. I set out and the army conducted a survey of nearby region and found out there was a lake in the middle of a forbidden forest. Our soldiers quickly set all their effort to finish the lake. Okay, fishing the lake, but apparently there was a bit of a problem there. According to the king, they hadn't come across just any lake, but a summer city where people were already living. The residents were awfully warlike and relentlessly attacked the king's soldier. There was no way they would be able to harvest any fish. And so the king said, I would like you to go to the city in the lake, to sunken city, and have a conversation with those people. We want to avoid any more violence, so we'd like you to communicate with the native people of the lake. I take it this is not an unwelcome task for you, since you will be able to explore a rather new and undeveloped land. In summary, the task was nothing other than to risk her life by venturing alone and unarmed into lawless land and convince the enemy to lay down their weapon. It was almost certainly a suicide mission. That's the mission given to Viola. Oh my god. That's that explains why she is in jail. Could there be any reason to take on a commission like this? It was a full Iran. There was no way she could accept. And so Voila shook her head. If you will go and do this for us, I shall pardon any previous incident conduct and forgive you for hitting on all girls in the town. Viola, what you have done, girl? You're literally Yuri. Then she nodded enthusiastically. Ah, like her eyes sparkling. Okay. The following day, Viola arrived at Sunken City. She had been arrested the same way as I had and thrown into jail, but after that, she was able to meet a face to face with the patriarch to plead her case, and he quickly set her free. It seemed the people of Sunken City were rather sympathetic. Once they understood she was not an enemy, the people of the tribe completely changed their attitude toward her and welcomed her warmly. Atolia father offered her his home cooked fish, sprinkling the finishing touches of salt from high up, while his daughter Atulia performed a welcoming dance or something along those lines. There's Voila told them her reason for coming to the sunken city. She didn't even eat the fish. She was probably too enthralled by Atolia dancing. The father nodded. Atolia puffed out cheeks. No way. They are ones who came at us with hostility in the first place. That's why we killed them. Oh, what? No, they are ones who came at us with hostility in the first place. That's why we killed them. What is this? This is strange. Before we discuss this further, I think I should go back to Lolia and find out why the two stories are so different. Well, who is Lolia? I forget. Apparently, that what Voila was thinking, but the girl named Atolia was very cute, and Voila thought that since Atolia was so cute, she didn't really care what happened. So for the moment, she banished all thoughts of the task she had been commissioned to do into the corner of her mind. In the end, she decided to remain in Sunken City under the pretext of conducting research. After all, she was archaeologist and quite curious about the city. The chef was rather pleased to hear her say so. That's wonderful. There are all sort of things we would like to know about our city in the water. At, at any rate, it stank into the lake long before any of us were born. It sounded like the chef was fine not really knowing anything about the remain of the city at their feet, but he wouldn't mind learning about it. Atolia cooperated with her research, applying a spell to prevent her from getting wet when she went underwater, and even going under with her, she might have taken a licking for Viola. Several days later, killing spare time in between diving with Atolia, Viola made a pass to another girl, then went diving, then played around with another girl, then went diving, then played with another girl, then played with another girl, then played with another girl. Eventually, it got to the point they were conducting her research on Shokan City was side gig to her main occupation of fooling around with other girls. This woman was too good for nothing. If she were a man, I think she would have been killed 100 times over for sure. What a pervert girl she is. Several days later, let me highlight all phrase. I will, you know what? I will read this and laugh it again sometime. Yeah. Furthermore, since she was doing nothing but committing these blunders, she completely fell out Atelia's favor. The girl began to treat her with contempt and fed her nothing but salad for every meal. Served her right. Despite her behavior, Atolia still accompanied Voila to her underwater research trip. That just goes to show the quality of her upbringing. Her speech is another matter, though. In any case, after spending a number of days on research, Viola had reached one single conclusion. There is no doubt that the city was submerged by human hands several centuries ago. Viola spoke to the chef. If I were to draw up a structure of the underwater city on a simple diagram, you would see this area was originally shaped like a deep pot. In other words, the people dug deep into forest floor and built their city there. That is how the city used to look. Hmm. So you are saying is water collected in the valley due to a great rainfall or something and drowned the city? Viola shook her head. Now that would okay. No, that wasn't enough to submerge the city. It must have been due to magic. A maid conjure a huge quantity of water to drown the city. I don't know their motivation to do such a thing, but I see the chef was nodding along. Viola quickly wrapped up her report. I will be leaving here tomorrow. I'm heading to the ancient capital, Lolia. There are a number of things I would like to confirm there. May I be allowed to stay there for another night? The chef nodded at this request to. Of course, Atolia has taken quite a liking to you, so much so that I would like you to stay forever. Oh, laughed Voila. My. Behind her smile was a whirlwind of complicated emotion. Because during her many sessions of underwater research with Atelier, she had one thing that did not bode well. Something had been written on the wall of private house in an ancient era. The country sank because of which from ancient capital Lolia. Viola didn't think Atolia had been able to read it, but Viola herself had clearly understood the word. It was mentioned written for whoever might come along afterward. Viola had an uneasy feeling from the very beginning. Why were there people living in a region that was forbidden to enter? Why was region forbidden in the first place? Wait. The country sank because of which from the Asian capital of Lolia. Voila didn't think at all. Okay, Voila had an easy feeling from the very beginning. Why were there people living in a region that was forbidden to enter? Why was the region forbidden in first place? Why had Lolia dispatched an outsider like Voila? Why were there discrepancies between Atolia's testimony and what the king had said? It was possible the king had already known all about this place when he had commissioned Voila for the task. And it was possible Lolia had some ulterior reason for forbidding people from entering the forest and finding the city. Viola felt a vague air of worry surrounding her. That was her story. Huh? Come again. Wait a second, please. Why were you arrested? Oh, Viola laughed. That was, well, I'm in here because I snuck into Atolia bedroom last night. Bro, if you are a man, then you will really kill by 100 times. What a dirt, I thought to myself. What a thud. After spending a little, that this tribe was forgiving as the rope that had been loosely worn around hand moment. Wait, he nodded. Wait. Where was I? After spending a little more time in a jail, we were eventually summoned by the chef and went downstairs. Since the chef was someone who actually had the capacity to understand what I was saying, I told him about my circumstances. He nodded. He ordered atelier. Then there is no problem, release her. How easy? Since chef, someone who actually had capacity to understand what I was saying, I told him about my circumstances. He nodded. I ordered Atolia, then there is no problem, release her. How easy? This tribe was forgiving as the rope that had been loosely wound around my hands a moment ago. Soldiers from neighboring country have been violently intruding on our territory. You see, you can understand why we were suspicious. I don't make a hobby of reckless arresting and interrogating people, said the chef. Chief, not chef, said the chief. Apparently, he was the only person here with his head on straight, despite his appearance. I have. Okay. I have heard the majority of your conversation in the jail from Atelier. It sound like you are traveling mage. Yes. I shook a quick glance to at Atelier and she swiftly turned her face away. I suppose she was eavesdropping the whole time, huh? She must have a lot of time on her hand. I had to collect I had to collect a lunch plate, so I just stood watch. I only heard part of it. I told you quickly explained. Allow me to get the heart of a matter. Allow me to get a heart of the matter. As you understand from what the archaeologist told you, our territory was currently under attack by nearby country. If the situation continues, there was a real possibility we will be destroyed. That lot like to come threaten as without warning. We have no way of knowing when they might launch an all-out attack. No matter how many mages like Atolia happened to be here, their enemy was modern nation was overwhelming military might. They would be able to match them even with their best effort. That was something that Chief seemed to fully understand. And so I have a request to make of you too. I want you to go conduct reconciliation negotiation with those people. Reconciliation negotiation, you say? The chief nodded at me. To be frank, even I'm at a quite loss as to how we should solve this problem. I can't find solution no matter how hard I tried. The enemy is after food, but the fish are also precious resource for us. There is no way we can simply hand them over. However, if we refuse, we are likely to be destroyed. It's hopeless. And you want to entrust that hopeless problem to the two of us. This is absurd. It was possible we were better versed in the circumstances of others' country than the people who lived here. However, I didn't think I was the right person for such an important task. It is especially because if we fail it could mean every person here would be facing extinction. The burden was too heavy for me to bear. I see. Viola was there next to me, nonchalantly as ever. For her part of she was keeping appearance with a superficial smile, but I was sure that on the inside she felt the same way as I did. For her part, she was keeping up appearance with the superficial smile. Okay, after all, she knew the history of her Asian capital, Lolia, which she hadn't yet disclosed to the chief and Atolia. Okay, Lolia. Lolia is a not a person name; it's a street name. It was a clear thing we're getting desperate. She had nothing more to add, and if anything, she would probably be in danger if she were to shamelessly return to Lolia. Lolia is a country. Okay, I get it. There was nothing to do but refuse. Can I trust you? In response of a chief question, Viola nodded like it was a matter of a course. Leave it to us. She nodded in informative. Arey, man. Excuse me, indifferent to my shock, Viola seemed to dispassionate as ever. However, I do have one request. Okay. In an irritating voice, she plays with the chief for just one thing. The small boat swayed beneath the blue sky. It was floating atop deep blue water, frail enough that it seemed like it might suddenly flip right over if someone were to place a hand on one side or push hard enough. Okay. Great pillar rose out of water, and any number of small boats like this, one more scattered around above sunken cities among the resident floating houses. So, what do you plan to do with the fish you catch? Next to me, the woman tossed the line dangling from her fishing rod into the water, then looked at me in confusion. What I'm going to do? I will take them over as a gift, of course. So then, what do you plan to do with them after you take them over as a gift? Get them to eat them? Of course. Assuming there was no great falsehood in what she said. The people she was talking about had already destroyed this country once. What a possible meaning could there be in paying tribute with a fish? Wasn't this really just extortion? Is there any point to that? Well, kinda. Leave it to me. Okay, the woman handed me fishing rod. She was probably trying to tell me to stop repeating myself and hurry up and catch some fish. I understood neither the meaning nor the purpose, but I forced myself to accept that she must have something in mind, and I fastened some bait into my hook, and tossed my line into water. The water formed gentle waves and swallowed up my bait without so much as a ripple. Before long, fish come up baiting at Voila's line. When she noticed the tugging from below, she pulled up hard on the bowing rod and dropped a single large fish into the deck of small boat. The fish was bright red like it was sunburned. Apparently, this fish is tantamount and stable food here. Viola said as she flung the fish into bucket. They say these guys line a dinner table of every home in the country. I hear they are delicious no matter how they prepared, whether stewed or grilled or dried or fresh. Hey, wait a minute, guys. Weave option. Where I get the weave option? I think from here, right? Yeah, edit pages. Oh, sorry, my bad. Edit outline, extra window, snapshot, comment. Hmm. Apparently, this fish is tantamount to staple food here, Voila said as she flung the fish into bucket. they say these guys line a dinner table to every home in a country. I hear they're delicious no matter how they are prepared, whether stewed, grilled, or dried or fresh. You hear? You here? Have you never eaten one yourself? I'm always eating salad. Huh? A shrill flute sounded. When I turned a look into the direction, Atolia was there in a small boat just a short distance ahead of us, standing there, levitating large net in the air using magic, pointing her thumb downward and weaving near her chest. What is that she's doing? Is it a provocation? Provocation? An invitation? I was thinking she held her index finger up and began waving in it front of her face. I did not understand her meaning. Those are hand signs. She says that there aren't very many fish there. So let's leave. Voila answer. Okay, okay. Wait, pointing her thumb downward and waving it near her chest. Okay, like this. I can't do this because my I can't use my hand. Okay. As I was thinking, she held her index finger and began to waving it in front of her face. I did not understand the meaning. Those are hand signs. She's saying that there aren't very many fish there, so let's leave. Voila answered as she began to row the small boat. At the same time, she winked at Totolia and blew her a kiss. What was that hand sign for just now? It means I love you. Oh my god. In response of Atolia spit off the side of her I think that was probably the sign of what you what a conversation going on here. After that, girls let the hand signal fly between them. Atolia put two finger to her own throat, which Voila went out of her way to explain. With that one, she saying, "Are you thirsty? Are you okay?" And then returned to hand sign for, "Can I sleep with you tonight?" I don't get it. Atolia got angry and signed, "Gross, hope you die." And Voila done. Dance around effortlessly and sign. Oh, come on, you're good when you're embarrassed. You're rocking the boat. Could you please stop? In her spare moment between fishing as she handled her net using magic, Atolia grimly replied to all Voila's sign, even things she could have ignored. Even two things she could have ignored. Is she serious? From there, a battle of the hand signs control until our bucket fill up with the fish. Come on, Atolia, I love you. Let me get married. I know you say the same thing to all the other girls. When should we do hold the ceremony? Let us have fish pie for our wedding cake. Sound gross. How many children do you want? None. Well, do you? Well, you mean you want to have all my love to yourself for the rest of our life? Yay, I have got selfish, sweetheart. No, exactly. Well, shall we have our honeymoon resort or inn or maybe a hotel? What do you think about hotel? The mountain would be nice. Oh, wild one, huh? By the way, can I come to your room tonight? You want to get thrown into jail again? The only place I want to go in your bed. Gross, I hope you die. Don't worry, I would just sleep together with you. I really won't try anything on. Seriously, despite how I look, I'm really late. I'm nothing like other girls. A lady would say that she want to sleep with a girl. A woman who don't try to sleep with a cute girl aren't ladies. They then what are you? I have such a little interest in the pleasure of flesh that I am practically vegan, I guess. Oh, you know what I'm thinking about? I have a Yuri friend. I will suggest this novel to her. Okay. You don't sound so sure for someone who eats nothing but salad. But you never let me eat anything else. Isn't that right? Could you please fish without flirting? Please fish without flirting. Okay, nice conversation. Ah. Yeah. With the net now teeming with the fish, we set off Asian capacity Lolia. Since it was relatively far away, we had to hurry if we wanted to fish to arrive fresh. So, as a matter of course, we were flying on our broom. Atolia was flying the net with the magic, while I was grabbing Voila at right behind me. Our two brooms were hovering above the forest, the leaves of trees below us and billowed in waves as if we were still floating on a water. Oh, I wish I was with the sweet Atolia. Behind me, sitting sideways on the broom, Viola sounded despondent. When I looked far off into distance, I could see the figure of Atolia with the net floating in the air beside her. She was in the middle of throwing some kind of a hand sign in our direction as usual. What is she saying? I asked. She's saying, well, answer, should we have bought souvenir for everyone? This is my first time visiting a new city. Okay. Originally, Viola and I were planning to go alone, but right before we left, Atolia had started grumbling. Wait, you can't go without me holding the net, and it's dangerous with just the two of you. Even when I chided her, saying we would be just fine because I would hold the net. She went on and on. It will be too heavy for you. We had accepted for her help since there was no reason to refuse. Apparently, the girl had a great interest in what lay outside her city. Voila sent her some kind of sign Atolia without a word. Okay, this is the sign they are all making, right? Ah, nice. Uh, Okay. What did you say? I told her I love you. When I looked at Atolia flying behind us, she was hooking a logging into the forest below. When we arrived at the Asian capital and told the gate god of the circumstances, he hurriedly saluted us, saying, understood, in that case, please come this way. He escorted us to the place. Atolia must have recalled the time that recall the one time she had encountered the soldier of her country because she was growling to herself until Voila put her hands on her cheek and stuff and molded her lip into smile. She looked just like the owner of a untrained pet. We arrived at the place where wait. Mic. Okay, now this is good, right? Yep. We arrived at the place where soldier let out hood of exclamation. Wow, mage, two of them. How scary! They saluted us one after another. Saluted us one after another. We imitated them and gestured back. One of the mages on our side was openly hostile. She even had certain energy about her, as if she might jump up and bite the hand of a saluting soldier. Viola seemed to fuss over her like always. Do you think you could hold her leash a little tighter? I'm the king of this country. At the far end of the room, we were shown to on the other end of the red carpet was an old man seated on an extravagant throne. As he said in his self-introduction, he was the king. Atop his craving head sat a hefty crown. Heya! Good day. Die! We each lined up and gave our respective greeting. There was one questionable response in the mix. I could have sworn I just heard that mage over there tell me to die, but anyway, what in that net? A king gaze was concerned on Atolia. I hate you, die, even in the place like this. Atolia displayed her totally. Rude, completely a nice and of honesty. Voila rushed to clarify things with the scolding. King, your Highness, the language is indifferent in her home. What she said just now did not mean what it sounded like. Is that so? Yes, here what she was saying. Sunken City is the love nest of me and Voila, so we'd like you to stay out of the way of our peaceful life and child rearing plans. I did not say that, Atolia jabbed Voila in that sign of menacingly. She said she didn't say that. Here is what she meant by that. What, Your Highness, are you jealous that I get to spend every day with such a beautiful? I did not say that. What do you people want? Singing, the king glanced over at me for the first time. It was like he was pleading with me to help him. Hmm. I was at a bit of loss, but I decided to abandon the two girls who were flirting next to me and continue to conversation on my own. I told him that Sunken City was a town where people lived, that the resident didn't want any conflict and wanted to proceed with a peaceful negotiation of, if possible. That it had been a mistake the other day when they had driven away the soldier of this country using magic, that we had brought a fish with us this time as an apology for that incident. Okay, so I didn't get everything exactly right, but oh well, I guess that's fine. Hmm. After he finished listening to what I had to say, the king said solemnly, in other words, you like to apologize for your rude behavior. Well, that's just fine. So, moving forward, what are you intending to do? He seemed to be unbothered by what had happened before. Well, was the one who immediately replied, I think it would be all right for you to do as you please. If you want to go fishing, do it to your hearts and contain. We won't mind even if you continue to catch fish until Sunken City wither and die. If you are so inclined, she said, there clearly with an indifferent attitude. Indifferent attitude. She said this carelessly with an indifferent attitude. What are you saying? Atolia demanded, shocked by Viola's inappropriate word, which ran totally counter to the intent of the reconciliation negotiation. You are going to stab us in the back? Viola collar bunch at Atolia. Viola collar bunch at Atolia yanked her back forcibly and fixed her with a sharp glare. Viola continued looking at the king as if she didn't care about Atolia's behavior in the least. Your Highness, I would like you to make us promise, though. If you will accept our condition, then distribute the fish that we have brought today among all your citizens and eat it, please. And then swear to never raise a hand against the people of Sunken City again. Hmm. The king looked troubled. In the midst of the exchange, Atolia was shaking Viola around violently by scholar. Why, I gotta. A few moments passed. Very well. As it was matter of course, the king accepted the condition. There was no argument whatsoever. We had just given a people new fishing ground. There was no reason for him to reject the proposal. I pinned Atolia arm behind her back as she tried to indigently to attack Voila and watch my own eyes as Voila as the king exchanged written pledges. Why are you getting in my way? Are you two planning to sell my home? That's not it. That's not what we are doing. I whispered close to her ear. So that's the king couldn't hear. To begin with, that was never the plan. Voila action were all part of our excellent scheme. The scheme that included just one aspect we had yet to tell either the king or Atolia about. But is that fish really all right? It doesn't have any poison or anything in it, does it? The king concern was only natural since smooth talk often had ulterior reason. Please set your mind at ease. We haven't does it with poison. As a proof, how about we have native girl eat some? Huh. Well then, I have castle staff prepared. It the king gave signal to soldier, collected the net full of fish, left the room. You got to be kidding. Atolia lamented. You all are devil. She went on and on, shouting mournful things until she tried herself out. I can't. I'm going home. She cried pavingly until soldier come back holding a plate. A good portion of a large plate was filled with the sauce, something making poor use of a spade. It was simple manure dressed up like a fancy dish. While I dug into fish with a fork, stabbed a bite-sized piece and moved it toward Atolia's mouth. Okay, pen open. Okay, open wide. No way, it's probably poison. It's not. No way. You're stubborn. I said. Atolia looked at me slightly, asking for help. There was no avoiding it. I let it go Atolia's wrist and slipped my hands around her side. Her shoulder hitched in surprise, and the moment that she got an inkling of what I was about to do, I squeaked. Atolia's mouth is open and surprised. Gotcha. Voila shoved her fish into her mouth. At first, Atolia frowned and big tears formed her corner of her eyes, but gradually her expression slacked and she chewed her food and obediently swallowed. After eating manually, she was simply silent, head hanging, whole body slang, and stood shocked still in daze. And then everyone in the place was intently watching. Atolia reluctantly let just a single sentence slip out. I'm going to bed. Wonderful. Voila chuckled and put her hands Atolia's cheeks. The fish were not, in fact, poison. That was much less complicated than that. To put it simply, only Atolia and her people could eat those fish. I had heard that truth while we were in the boat, while she was in the middle of flirting with Atolia via hand signal. Voila suddenly told me something as if she had just remembered it. Those fish are inedible, you know. Huh? Those fish have natural poison to protect them from predator. You see, whether you stew them, grill them, dry them, or eat them raw, when you eat them, your stomach will immediately begin to hurt. Now hold on just a minute. Everyone here is eating them. You said they line the dinner table of the city, right? Yes, they do. Here is in Sunken City. She was grinding, but right after she said that, the look in her eyes hardened. My guess is in the country used to be weak. They were likely to unable to do anything when they were conquered by ancient capital Lolia. Probably the when Lolia began facing famine. They closely forest so they could develop the land. But even when this city was flooded with the water, it didn't put an put an end to the lives of a resident forgotten by the ages. They never left this end to the lives of a resident forgotten by ages. They never left this place and lived in harmony with the water. They had gone from Bigan city with the canal to underwater. However, the people had done their best to adapt the changes in their environment. The forest became forbidden zone and with no outsider stepping foot into their territory, and people had undergone their own unique evolution. Those fish were not originally edible, they are quite poisonous. However, as ages passed, the people's bodies must have been adapted to poison. That how they survive until how now. Is that possibly why you have not been eating the fish this whole time? Those who committed carelessly mistaken were only allowed to eat salad, as were those who were thrown in jail. Apparently, she had been doing just that, living her life without eating the fish up until now. That's right, because if I ate it, it would destroy my stomach. Well, there is also reason that sexually harassment sweet Atolia turned out to be more fun than I expected. Are you actually just a lecherous old man in disguise? What is with that way of thinking? Well, anyway, she looked at me even as she was sending off harassing hand signal. That's why I'm taking the fish into the Asian capital, Lolia. If I do that, they should realize it. Too, they should realize they can't meddle with Sunken City. They can't eat the fish even if they get their hands on them. Is that what's going on? That's what's going on. Oh ho ho. She let out a laugh as she told me conspirator conspiratorially with the passage of many long years. The people of Sunken City have developed a poison to protect them from the enemies. Man, wait. How long this story is gone? Okay, maybe I will stop here. Page number 82. Page number what? Yeah, we here. Okay, let me read it. Why are you only telling me about this now? Still looking intelligent, Atolia nimbly made hand sign to after we told her situation on the way back. Viola explained the meaning for me. That was the thing I wanted to see your surprise face. Viola sent a flurry and hand sign. Don't mess with me. I don't care. I'm telling Pops about you. Was that? What was with that? Well, it's all right now. Sunken City will have peace, as they had been exchanging written pledges. Voila had secretly handed the king a letter and sweetly whispered, "Please open this after you have eaten all the fish." Okay. Inside was the truth about the Sunken City. She probably trying to prevent Lolia from using incident as an excuse for further hostilities. Because even if there were fish to be caught in Sunken City, they weren't edible. But there one thing that doesn't make any sense, I said, as if talking to myself. After all, why did Atolia and Soldier have a confrontation in first place? If that hadn't happened, you would never have gotten into such a complicated situation, right? After all, people of Sunken City understood common speech. If they had gone through the trouble to talk each other the first time, there would have been no need for us to go out for our way to bring fish. Atolia is so cute. I want to hug her. Uh, Ignoring my question, Voila was bouncing around on a broom while Atolia looked truly fed up with her sending another signal. It was awfully strange hand sign. She stuck her finger straight out of broad, straight finger straight out of broad of the palm of her extended hand right up the forehead. Okay, it's look like some kind of salute. Okay, sorry. What's the meaning of that? I yanked at Voila's stole. Ah, that's one. She hesitated. It means I'm going to smash you on your head. Okay. Oh, of course, that is her. Basically, it means she want to kill me. I think that was probably the source of all this when she had her exchange with the soldier. Is that punchline? Well, anyway, that's all over now. Let's forget the past, the accepted our apology and everything. Sunken City would continue to follow its own unique path and live in quiet isolation. The ancient capital would also probably persist despite its food shortage, like poisonous fish swimming quietly through the ocean and like a larger fish that takes no notice. Each would continue to live on without looking at the other. Their history would wash away and they would adapt in no time. Okay. So this is the story and okay, let me see the chapter 7. Is it a long story or short story? Oh, that was a long story. It will take another live stream, I think, but okay, that's all about the story. Okay, thank you for coming watching this video, guys. And if you like to read this whole PDF, just watch my video and mute me. Okay, you will read this. Sorry, with a good space. Now, by this, I will take my leave. Thank you for watching me and goodbye. See you, tata. I will come back with another chapter. Not so soon. Yeah, soon. Okay. Bye bye.